right, we are back. We are back. We are back. We are back. Let's see if anybody joins this thing. It's always like so nerve-wracking. The last one was really cool because it was like a practice run, so I didn't have any expectations. And then all these people from my community joined, and I was like, oh, thank God. I feel so much better because it's like I feel like I know them. So that was really helpful. But it was also like late in the afternoon, and this is in the morning. So it's like 10 a.m. on a Saturday. Hi! Hello! Good morning! Oh my gosh, I love you guys. Thank you so much. Hi, 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 hi. Y'all, I was getting nervous again. I'm like, I always get nervous with these things. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know. I'm human. I'm just out here. I'm just out here doing my best. But thank you so much for joining. Yay. Okay, it's like early, I think. I don't know. I guess early is like, based on based on like perspective. So this feels like afternoon to me, 10 a.m., So hopefully it's not too early for people, but y'all, I'm just here to answer y'all's questions, honestly. So, oh my, really? Thank you. I love a good comment about the eyebrows. I really appreciate that. Y'all know the weight of my heart. I really appreciate that. That is so funny. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. What do y'all need from me? What can I provide? What questions can I answer? You have me for an hour. So whatever y'all need, I'm here, and we're just gonna kick it. Talk all things project management, or yeah, whatever you guys need. Yeah, of course. Thank you guys for getting on. Imagine my thought process if I like got on and 10 minutes in nobody joined. I would just be like, so thank you guys. All right, I see a few more people joining on, guys. This is not this is not like a webinar. It's just an open Q&A. So whatever questions you have, definitely ask them, and I'll answer. Okay, I love this. So what can we expect from the weekend mastermind? Okay, this is basically how it's gonna go. It's a live class. It's gonna be me. I'm gonna have a moderator, and I'll also have a second instructor on the call. And it's literally just going to be us walking you guys through all of the prep course. So we'll start with everything that's included in the first topic. We'll go through all the modules. We'll take some intermittent breaks, and we'll also have a lunch period, but it is from 9 a.m. to 4. And I used to teach from 8 a.m. to 5. But what I realized was that we really didn't need that much time. But it's literally just going to be live instruction, and then you're going to be able to ask questions in the chat. And then every time that we end a module, we'll take some time to go back and review the questions that you guys have in the chat, and I'll go in and answer them for you. So super simple, straightforward type thing. A week before the boot camp starts, I'm going to release some pre-work videos for you guys, and it's not like homework assignments. You don't have to actually go in and do anything, but I do want you to go in and watch all of the videos, and I'm just going to be walking you through a project. And the reason why I'm doing this is because the PMP is great. It's a wonderful certification to have. It's really important for you to be marketable to employers. However, a lot of the times PMI will get really, really deep in. And the fact of the matter is, if you're running an initiative that doesn't require all of those things, then it doesn't make sense for you to inundate your team with processes and documentation when you can keep it a little bit lighter. So the pre-work is going to be me walking you guys through a little bit of a lighter project so that you can really just get an idea of what your experience in the role would be like if you weren't running some enterprise-wide data migration initiative. Like, not all projects require that level of complexity. So I want to start light and give you guys an idea, like what does a less complex project look like? What are those main artifacts that we would need to have? what's the thought process from the project manager's perspective. And so that way you have a foundational understanding before we get into, the super deep PMP type topics. So that's a little bit of what you can expect over the 2 weekends. All right, let's see. Hey, what's up? What's up? Thanks for joining. I want a PM in construction. I'm currently a CEI civil engineer inspector. Ooh, okay. Very, very fancy. I mean, construction is going crazy right now, which honestly surprises me because I thought with the way the housing market was, which maybe it's just me being narrow-minded, thinking about, retail single family home construction, I thought that maybe construction would be slow right now. But when you go and look up project management roles, there's a ton of construction openings. And obviously it's like more than just single family, there's multifamily, there's commercial, there's all types of construction projects, public sector, private sector. So yeah, there's a huge opportunity in construction right now. And PMI also recently dropped a new certification specifically for construction project management. So I would also look into that because I don't know what is happening. Maybe it's just I don't know enough about construction because I'm a healthcare girly, but there's a huge opportunity in construction right now. So definitely look into it. Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. 100% do not be nervous. And the reason why I say that is because we have taught people from so many different backgrounds, like literally educators who, were teaching fifth graders for the past 8 years, or nurses, or people who were just doing retail management. We have helped so many different people transition from different backgrounds. Don't be nervous about how intense it is. And the reason why I say that also is because the thing about project management, other than that it's a language, is that the information is not complex. What you're going to find is a lot of these things are intuitive, but it's just dense. So it's not very difficult to understand, but it is a lot of information. So don't be nervous about the level of intensity. And the other thing that I'll say is that you are going to have a large cohort. Okay, so you have us in the community to support you. You have the weekly office hours, which we're also going to do separate office hours, only for the people who were in the boot camp cohort, just to narrow it down, because I don't want to be like answering resume questions and job search questions and all this type of stuff when I have a group of individuals who are like literally studying right now for the PMP. So we'll have separate office hours for you guys as well. And I'm bringing in some new people on staff that can, kind of contribute. So you have a lot of support, and we're going to continue to build out resources. So don't be nervous. Anytime you do something new, it's hard, right? But it's always easier when you have a group of people supporting you. So yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be great. What are your views on the CAPM before the PMP? Okay, I love this question. I do get asked this a lot. If you can qualify for the PMP, you always get the PMP. In my opinion, don't waste time with the CAPM. And the reason why I say this is because a lot of the time instructors will provide you the same course material for the CAPM that they will for the PMP. So you're going to be learning the same thing. You're just taking an easier exam that's not going to rank you as highly in the market. You know what I mean? Because the CAPM is really for somebody who's a little bit more entry level as opposed to like a mid-career professional. So it depends on your level of comfort. Also, if you're the type of person who's like, hey, I want to go in at an entry level, like I would feel much more comfortable doing that, then go get the CAPM. But my personal opinion is that if you can qualify for the PMP, you get the PMP. Go straight to that, 100%. Let's see. It looks like we're saying construction's huge in San Francisco. It's dead in Ontario. Yes, I'm so sorry. I should probably like qualify that statement. I'm in Dallas, Texas, as you can see. Right, I'm a Texas girl. So construction's going crazy out here. It's obviously going to be very dependent on where you're located. and really kind of across the US. I'm telling you, I have no idea what's going on because it seems like there's so many houses on the market, but I guess we're just like, let's build some more stuff. So construction's kind of popping in the US right now. Why is it that so many companies do not use all the skills taught with PMI? Oh my gosh. Don't even get me started. You know what I've discovered in what I consider my relatively short tenure in project management is that organizations obviously vary, right? There's so many different types of organizations. So cultures are different. The way that they're structured is different. But when they're not utilizing the skills of a project manager, that's when you're typically going to see like a project management opening where it's like, oh yeah, we're looking for a senior level project manager and it pays $60,000 a year. To me, that immediately tells me they don't recognize the value of a project manager and they're probably going to treat me as an administrative assistant instead. And you don't really know this until you're like really deep into the job description. For instance, if I see a senior level project manager opening and it's paying $65,000 a year and I look in the job description and it's like, you're going to be responsible for timelines and stakeholders and task overseeing, and you're going to have a team. I'm like, this, like, for me, it's implied that I would be doing those things because they're just part of project management. So it's a red flag for me. You always, if you can, you want to get in with a company that actually recognizes the value of a project manager, because then they're going to be utilizing your actual project management skills. But the other thing that I will say is that there's levels to this. Okay, so some companies are doing really complex work. You know what I mean? And that's why you'll see them having a project coordinator position open that pays $90,000 a year, because they're like, look, this is a very serious, maybe government facing, initiative that we're running that's really complex, and it's going to have several project managers on it. And then you'll have some companies that are a little bit smaller and they're running much less complex initiatives. So just make sure that you're actually paying attention to, like, what does the company do? How big is the organization? What are they paying? What are the actual requirements in the job description? Because that's going to inform you about kind of how seriously they take project management. What's the best way to crack into the medical field as a fresh master's graduate in project management? Okay, so let me ask you really quickly. You're saying that you have a master's in project management. You want to crack into the medical field, but what is your background in right now? What industry have you been in? Higher ed. Okay. It's going to kind of depend. So when we say medical field, we got to niche down, right? Because there's two different parts of healthcare. There's the business side, and then there is the clinical side. So if you're talking about the clinical side, then you need to go and get some type of exposure to how facilities run, whether that be a hospital, inpatient surgery, outpatient surgery, detox clinic, wherever you plan on working. You need to get some exposure to the clinical experience, because that's going to be the only way that you know how to, like, PM on that side. You need to know what you're getting into. If it's the business side, it's way easier, because you can go in and say, hey, I have a background in higher education, and then just correlate the skill sets to what you would see in a business environment in corporate. You know what I mean? So, like, for instance, if you were working in higher education and you did a lot of process design or process optimization, I would just call that out on my resume and then look for a healthcare PM role on the business side that's asking for somebody with, like, a process optimization background or a process design background. That's an easy bridge to build, solely based on the skill set, right? And one of the best ways that you can do this is when you are searching for a job, you need to go and, like, actually pull the job description and say, okay, I'm going to work today, this morning, and I'm going to pull 10 job descriptions for roles that I'm interested in. And once you pull them, look through them, and identify what the commonalities are for what they're asking, and then start to design your experience or translate your experience into the perspective that they're asking for. Like, you have to build the bridge between your current skill set and what they're looking for, and that's going to help you. Because we recently helped transition one of our clients. I'm pretty sure he was a vice principal at a high school or a middle school, and he just got into healthcare on the business side. I mean, he actually works for a hospital system, but not in the hospital, I don't believe, as a project manager. So as long as you can build the bridge between your skill sets and kind of identify those things, then you'll be good to go. But the business side of medicine is not hard to get into. The clinical side is a little bit different because you really do need exposure to like facilities, whatever those facilities may be. Okay, amazing. If the business side is your target, I wouldn't be worried about it at all. Yeah, that's exciting. I love healthcare personally. Huge fan. And congratulations on your master's. It's a big deal. All right, as a fresh graduate, how do you look for jobs per se without experience besides the training? Okay. Does this mean that you just graduated college with your bachelor's and you've never held like an actual job before? Is that what you're saying? I just want to make sure that I understand before I answer. That's correct. Okay. This is the deal. Your university has a career services office. Okay. If I'm you, I'm going to the career services office and I'm telling them, hey, I'm looking for project management roles. Either connect me with whatever internships that this university has partnered with when it comes to organizations, or I would connect with my alumni network. 100%. If those two things don't pan out, or in conjunction with those, go to your local PMI chapter and let them know, hey, I just graduated. This is the field that I'm trying to be in. I've got this cert or whatever it may be. And tell them that you're looking for opportunities, and they will help connect you with opportunities. Now, what I will say is that PMI chapters are run like franchises. So some are better than others. Okay, the one in Dallas is really good. I think there's like 3 in LA, one that's really good. The other 2 are like, probably maybe like mediocre. But that's definitely an avenue that I would explore, because you really just need an opportunity to lead. Okay, so I would kind of focus on that. But a lot of the times I see people that don't really tap into the resources that their university provides. That's literally what you're paying them money for. It's not just for the education and the degree. Like, they have career services offices, they have internships, they have an alumni network. I'd be tapping into all of that. I want my money's worth, 100%. So I would look into that. Does a PMP not allow you really just land in any industry? So project management spans all industries. The PMP will take you to any industry that you want to go. However, it's much more challenging if you don't have some sort of understanding of how that industry operates. So for instance, my entire background is in healthcare. If you look at my resume, it's like she's worked for this healthcare company and consulted here and done this at a healthcare company. So if I was trying to get into construction, I would need to connect to construction in some way. Even if it's like, oh, they were doing construction at the hospital that I was working at. So I have some type of understanding of like what we have to have in a doctor's office when it comes to construction, based on compliance, or based on best practices. Or they were doing construction at the lab that I was at. So I have an understanding of like the things that you absolutely have to meet the good lab practices standards. So you have to have some type of connection there if you want to position yourself, right? You can just flail out applications all day, but if you want to be a contender when it comes to the role and beat out other candidates, then you need to be able to build the bridge somewhere, somehow. And a lot of the times for construction, perfect example, people will tell me, I really want to get into construction, but I don't know how to get experience. Habitat for Humanity. They're always looking for volunteers. Go volunteer for Habitat for Humanity, and then you will actually have an understanding of the building process, of the procurement process, of how they get materials, of, you know, the waterfall process that they use when they're trying to design and like build up. Do some internships, like absolutely. You have a lot of opportunity and you really just need exposure. You know what I mean? Exactly. Knowledge and language. One of the things that I love, I used to work for this biotech startup here in Dallas, and we had a very young vice president. And I was always kind of curious about, you know, how did you scale up so quickly? And obviously, you know, his dad had connections and that type of thing. But he said, you know, Veronica, one of the things that really sells me whenever I'm talking to people is that if you just speak a little bit of the language, they trust you to be successful in that role. He's like, you don't have to have like deep subject matter expertise, but if you speak the language, you have a willingness to learn, like you'll be good to go. So that is something that you want to consider as well. Like you need some understanding of the language of these industries that you're trying to get into. Yes, you're very welcome. Hey, I saw your interview from Textual Chatter. I'm ready to pivot. Hey, shout out to Henri. He's great. He's here in Dallas as well. The tech scene in Dallas is relatively small. I won't say I know everybody, but I know a lot of people. So Henri's a real gem. He's very authentic. He's a great guy. And thanks for joining my live. Appreciate that. Make sure, if you're not a member of the community, make sure you click Henri's link and you jump into the community if you want to get into our boot camp. If there's anybody on this call who's not a member of the community and you're like, hey, I want to do the boot camp, register before Monday because the community is on sale right now. But as of Monday, the price is going up and it's listed in the description on our about page on the community. So just if you're like, hey, I know for a fact I want to join, then don't wait or you're going to end up paying more. And it's a monthly fee, so that's going to add up. What do you think about combining the PMP with cloud search such as AWS and Azure Basic Search? Love it. Love it, 100%. Because having the PMP is going to sell you from a project management perspective, but when you have these cloud certifications, what it's telling employers is that you also have subject matter expertise and you're going to be able to speak the language of the technical side. This is where a lot of organizations have gaps. And the reason that I know this is because, for instance, I was at Afrotech and I went and talked to the representative from Deloitte, which is obviously one of the big four consulting firms. And I asked her because she represented their EPMO. And I was like, where do you guys see the most gaps? And she was like, my technical resources can't talk to clients. They can't talk to stakeholders. They don't know how to speak the language of the business. So if you're a project manager, it's kind of implied that you can be client-facing, business-facing, and engage with stakeholders. And if you can speak the language of the technical side, then now you're building bridges of communication between the technical side and the business side, and that's a very lucrative skill set to have. So I love that. Get those certs, 100%. Show them you have subject matter expertise on the technical side. I don't think that you'll regret that. It's a good investment. I'm sorry, guys. I have like floor-to-ceiling windows and the sun's beaming in. I'm sweating over here. One thing that helps a lot after getting the PMP is to pair it with another PM tool certification. 100%. I get this question a lot where people are like, what systems should I know? Or like, what project management software should I know? This is going to be really dependent on the industry that you're in. Because if you're working in tech, you're running agile methodology projects, you need to know Jira. I can tell you right now, Jira is not that user-friendly. It's not an intuitive system, but it's the king in the space. So you should know it, right? If you're working in construction, like you're probably gonna be using like Procure or Bluebeam, or even Microsoft Project. So you're doing a different methodology. You're not gonna be using Jira because construction projects aren't typically agile. They're gonna be waterfall. So you need a waterfall project management software. Okay, so you have to kind of think about that. And if you're not sure, again, go back to the job descriptions for the jobs that you're interested in. It will typically tell you what type of systems they want you to have experience in. And if you pull 10 job descriptions if you pull 10 job descriptions and they all say we want a candidate that knows Asana, then you know you need to know Asana. Okay, so just try to draw the parallels there, 100%. I don't know who the unknown is, but they're dropping gems in here, so appreciate it. Yay! Okay, where do you recommend getting the tool certs from? Literally anywhere. Literally anywhere. And the reason why I say that is because some of these softwares have their own certifications that you can get on their website. You can literally go, like Jira is owned by Atlassian. You can go on Atlassian's website and they'll be like, we have a free course that you can take to get certified or to get like a basic certificate and be a practitioner. And then when you get to a certain level, like they'll charge you. But I would go straight to the actual, platform owner, 100%. Or you can go to Coursera, or you can go to Udemy. Or if you're like, I don't know that I want to like pay for a certificate, or I just want to start off kind of with some foundational knowledge, go to YouTube University, free 99. If you're like, I don't really want to get the certificate, but I just want to make sure that I have at least a basic understanding of how to use this tool, free resources, 100%. What do you think about cold emails for sending your CV? You know what's so funny is that a lot of people are like, cold emails are dead. I don't think that cold emails are dead. I'm 100% from, the school of thought of like, shoot your shot. But I wouldn't be 100% dependent on that. This is the thing. If you're applying to a job, let's say on LinkedIn, and the recruiter's information is listed, you need to reach out to the recruiter after you send the application, follow up with like your cover letter. If you're a mid to senior level professional, you probably have a portfolio. I'd attach my portfolio on there as well. You can send cold emails. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. And another thing that people skip over because they just don't want to do it is that you should be networking in person. You should be doing in-person networking, especially in this market, because it's like, it's a, I guess if we're sellers, it's a buyer's market. I don't know how to make the analogy, but basically the companies have their pick of the litter right now. So you need to be making connections. And a lot of the time people are like, oh, well, I don't want to go out and network somewhere in person, but you're missing an opportunity if you don't do that. You should be out like at the PMI chapters that are local to you, at the conferences that align with the industries that you're in. Like I'm constantly at tech conferences. I've been in Atlanta twice this month out networking. You know what I mean? You got to be putting in the work. So add that onto your job search strategy. But I love a good cold email. I'm not mad at it. Once you earn your PMP certification, are there any types of projects or industries you'd recommend avoiding initially until you gain more experience? Nope. And the reason why I say that is because no project is the same. There are no perfect projects. Every single project is going to be different. Even if it's similar to one that you've run in the past, the conditions may be different, whether it's the economy or compliance regulations that have changed, or your stakeholders are different, or your vendor situation is different. It's going to be baptism by fire regardless. It's always going to be changing. And that's the thing about project management. That's why what PMI teaches you for the PMP is so complex, because they're trying to give you a holistic view of something that's always changing. And that's going to be different by industry, and that's going to be different by initiative. So there's not really any one project or industry that I would say, oh, you need to avoid that. If you know you want to be in that industry, you need to go ahead and start getting that exposure. 100%. 100%. Let's see. I was at a housing developer, and Procore was the top platform that connected the company to vendors. Yeah. What is your opinion regarding project management roles in regards to positions being on-site versus remote? Do you feel PM roles lean more towards remote friendly, or could it depend on the industry? It depends on the industry. So for instance, I've maybe only seen literally one or two remote construction project manager roles, because it doesn't really make sense for you to not be on site, right? You're literally building something. Like you need to be there. So it's going to depend on the industry, but it also depends on the rank. You're way more likely to find remote project management roles if you're like mid to senior level in tech, for instance, as opposed to project coordinators. A lot of the times they'll want coordinators or analysts or project engineers to be on site because you're entry level, like you're getting exposure. So sometimes it depends on the level that you're at. Sometimes it depends on the industry that you're in. So it kind of varies. But when it comes to remote project management, what I will say is that a lot of people think that it's going to be easier if you're working remote. No, it's not going to be easier. What it is it gives people an easier time dodging you, right? Because I can send you 1,000,001 emails. And then if you don't answer, what am I supposed to do? Go to your house? We work on opposite sides of the country. It's different when you're working in office with people because it's easier for you to like go and connect with them in person, and have in-person meetings. And it's not the same. It's just not the same as being remote. So when you are remote, I just don't want you to think it's going to be easier. It's going to require a higher level of discipline and diligence from you. So just keep that in mind. Like, it's not, hey, I'm going to be chilling in my pajamas all day, like watching the Real Housewives and eating bonbons. Like, you're going to be, you're still going to be hustling, and it definitely has its challenges. So that's something that you probably want to consider. I've never been to any tech conferences. I'm nervous to go because I don't even know how I would even brand myself and network, being new to the PM space and being confident in talking. So the whole thing about networking is just showing up as your authentic self. That's the whole thing about networking. People can tell when you're trying to fake the funk, and then it's a turnoff. You're like, something about this is just telling me that this person is not who they say they are. Like, and keep in mind that the whole purpose of networking is not necessarily to sell yourself, but to actually connect with people. And so we just had our very first meetup at the Render conference when I was in Atlanta. And some of those people had never been to tech conferences either, but I was like, hey, we're all going to be here together. That'll make you feel better. So anytime I'm going to be at a tech conference, I'll let you guys know if you want to do a meetup. Because that way, you'll feel more comfortable because you'll have people there that But just keep in mind, like, you're just there getting to know people. You're just there trying to build authentic connections. That's it. And you don't have to be a project management expert. You can just talk about whatever industry you have background in, right? Project management skill sets can be built. If you have a foundational understanding of how business operates for your industry, you'll be fine. Remote isn't easier. We also learn by osmosis, being in space. Yes. Auto development and growth. That's so true. You will learn at an accelerated rate when you're physically in the same environment as other people, because you're just getting all these gems and all this exposure. And there's that barrier there when you're remote because you're not in the same space as people. And it's also a little bit more challenging to take quick action. So that's a really good call out. Will you be at InvestFest? It's a no for me, dog. It's a no for me. And the reason why I won't be at InvestFest is because everybody tells me that InvestFest is basically just a party. They have like Rick Ross on stage doing concerts and like, all this other crazy stuff happening. And I'm like, it's a little overstimulating for me. So I will not be at InvestFest. And I feel like Afrotech can sometimes give the same vibe. But I did like Afrotech. I had a really good experience there. So it's like the conferences that I go to, sometimes they do have like concerts and parties and stuff like that. You typically won't catch me at those types of things. I'm there like trying to engage with the speakers or talk to the founders or networking with recruiters, like, that type of thing. I'm a teacher wanting to be a PM. Any advice? Just do it. Just do it. We've transitioned teachers before. The biggest hurdle that teachers face for me is understanding how to articulate their experience into project management terminology, which is where I bring in our agent, right? We have an AI agent that I personally designed and I trained on all of our knowledge bases, all of my ebooks, like literally everything I know, I trained this AI agent on. And it really helps you understand how your experience as an educator translates into project management experience and how the skill sets are very similar and how you can position yourself. So I would leverage that 100%. But if you can manage kids, you can manage adults. Kids might actually be easier because you can be like, I'm going to tell your parents. Adults are like, tell my boss, I'm burnt out. I don't care. Like, whatever. So it can be a little bit more challenging, but I would say just do it. You know, pick an industry that you want to be in. For instance, a lot of teachers I know are transitioning into ed tech because they understand the language of education. And they just gain a little bit of technical skills and they get certified and they're on their way. So pick an industry, make sure you kind of understand the language of the business, and then just start picking up those project management skill sets. Yeah, it's in our community. You get it for free. You get access to it for free if you're a community member. I live here, and it's a no for me unless I'm working. Yeah. I'm like, I'll probably pass. Some of these conferences get crazy, and people are out there like, you can just tell their intention is not to learn from the conference, and I'm like, I'm actually not trying to turn up and wow out and do all those things. If you know me, I'm a little bit more of a homebody. Man, these are good questions, you guys. I feel like it's popping. For someone who works in tourism and hospitality, what would be a good industry to pursue for PM? Why wouldn't you stay in tourism and hospitality? I would stay in that industry. If it's not the industry that's turning you off and you're just like, man, I just want to be in project management, I'd stay in tourism and hospitality. You can be a project manager for any of these big hospitality chains. Literally, when I was at Afrotech, Hilton was on site looking for PMs. These big cruise lines, looking for PMs. These big restaurant chains, from the corporate perspective, looking for PMs. Especially if you have what we call, like, you understand the experience of the user. Right? So for instance, if I have somebody who's like been a restaurant manager and they understand what it is their customer is looking for and they want to break into project management, I'm like, go into the corporate space for hospitality because you understand what your consumers want. You understand what makes them tick. You understand what their experience has been. Companies will pay for that. And that's important value that you have and that you're bringing to the table, 100%. I don't see a lot of jobs for that sector. It's mostly fintech, tech, or medical. How are you doing your searches? Because this is another thing that somebody in my community said. They're like, I'm searching for project management jobs, but all I see is construction. I have not seen, if I don't actually look for a construction role, I don't see a single construction role. And the reason why is because the way that I filter my job search, I'm like, healthcare project manager. You know what I mean? So I would think about how you're filtering your job search. Because if I don't just say project manager, then I'm not just going to get inundated with like tech and construction because it's too general. Project management spans all industries. So make sure that when you're doing your search, you're actually saying restaurant project manager, cruise line project manager, hospitality project manager, whatever it may be as specific as possible. She said, I'm definitely the problem. Got to update my searches. And that's okay because project management is one of those roles where it's like when it spans all industries and you come from a place where your role didn't necessarily span all industries, you don't know that your search has to be a little bit more strategic. So that's literally what, why I dropped this information. All right, let's see. I have heard Afrotech was really great in the past. Afrotech is great, but the thing about Afrotech is that they've expanded so much. You got to be diligent with what it is you're trying to get out of the conference. Because if you want a party, you will find one. If you want to see 50 Cent in concert, you'll find him, right? But if you're like, I'm here specifically looking for a job, they have a huge expo floor. Like literally Deloitte was recruiting. American Express was recruiting on site. The FBI and the CIA were there recruiting project managers. I was like, what? Uber was there. All the big organizations were there recruiting, but a lot of people just avoid the expo floor and they're there like trying to find their husband or their wife. I'm like, You know, what are we actually doing here? You have to use the conference for what it's for, and like actually look on their website in advance and see who's going to be there, who's doing what, where do I need to be to meet these people, who's doing on-site interviews. They'll tell you that stuff in advance. Right, sir. We have people who manage the travel, the hospitality, and the trade shows. Thank you. Thank you, Francis. Dropping gems. Appreciate that. Is receiving CAPM something that's necessary? No. If you can qualify for the PMP, go straight for the PMP. If you can't qualify for the PMP, then get the CAPM, but it's not necessary. You're welcome. You're very welcome. Not them looking for partners. Don't even get me started. I was at a tech, we have these huge tech mixers in Dallas, literally called Mixer Cloud. And when I used to first go there, you could just tell it was just a gang of nerds. It was just all of us tech nerds in there doing our nerdy thing, talking about, you know, crypto and Web3 and AI and like those types of things. And then I went back like 6 months later and I was like, these aren't tech nerds. These are people who are in here, you know, these are the same people who slide into your DMs on LinkedIn. Like, I'm like, I just cannot be convinced. So watch out. Not everybody's out there, you know, looking for a job. Some people are looking for other things. So stay diligent, stay aware. Not really my scene at all, but I haven't been back to one of those in quite a while for that reason. All right. Dang, we've been going for 41 minutes, y'all. I'm so excited. Okay, what other questions do you guys have? Anybody with questions like about whether or not they can meet? I know you guys are LOLing, but like it's a serious thing. It's a serious thing. And you don't know until you know. At first I was just like, oh, this crowd is a little bit different. Like, I don't know what's going on. And then it was literally the other people I were with that were like, girl, these people are not in tech. Like, come on. And I was like, oh, okay. Didn't know. How do we know if we qualify to take the PMP? Will the community assist with the application? Yes, we absolutely do. So this is how it works. Number one, everybody knows that I'm always going to bring up this bragging point. We have a 100% success rate on the application. We've never had a single person whose PMP application has gotten denied by PMI and rejected and been like, nope, sorry, you don't qualify. Never happened to us in the past 3 years, something I'm very proud of. This is another reason why we designed the AI agent, because we used to just do all of our like application assistance by hand. And now what we do in the community is that you have to put your application through the AI agent first, ask it to edit it, ask it to make sure that it aligns 100% with PMI's code of conduct and ethics. It's trained on all of those things. And then once that's done, you send it into us and we will give you your human review. But if you join our community, you can go through and look at people's posts, application approved, application approved. Oh my God, this AI assistant is amazing, application approved. Like, we see that pretty regularly in there. Been following you for a while. Hey, on Instagram, thank you. Yes, join the community. Make sure you do it before Monday. It's on sale right now. It's $50 a month. But as of Monday, it's bumping up to $75. So just make sure that you join before Monday so that you can get in on a good deal. But thank you so much for following me on Instagram. I appreciate that. I love AI stuff. Me too. I love AI. And let me tell you, training an AI agent was so much fun. That was so much fun. I literally I pulled everything from PMI's website, like all their documentation. I pulled all of my knowledge base stuff that I had documented, my videos, uploaded the whole thing into that sucker. And it was like, oh my gosh, this is me, but on crack for project management. It was so cool. It was a lot of fun. I don't know if you answer these types of questions. Can you make 150K with the PMP? Of course. Of course you can. You absolutely can. So if you've seen my interview on Tech is the New Black, my very first project management role paid 105. My second project management role total comp paid over 150K. My second project management role. Consulting, you'll do over 200K a year, you know, depending on the industry. Depending on the industry. If you're making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, they're probably not paying you 200K for that. But I work in healthcare technology, and that's, you know, consulting, especially from a consulting perspective, that's pretty par for the course. This is what sold me to join the community because I got denied. Yes, I remember we were talking late last night trying to figure out the chat feature. I'm really excited to see your app too and get your feedback about how the AI agent helps. So, send it over to me when you get a chance. And another thing I would like to do, save a copy of your denied version, because I want to be able to look at like a before and after. I think that would be really valuable. And then if you're okay with it, we could possibly build out like a case study for it, because it could help other people on their journey too. But thank you so much for joining. I'm really excited to see your app. No, not for current members. No. That's the thing about the community. The way that it works is that once you're in, you're locked in at that price point. You will never pay more. You will never pay more. So whatever you're at a current member rate is the rate that you lock in. That's only for newly joining members. I'm sorry, I should have clarified that. That's a good question. The community is great and super responsive, worth every expiring penny. Thank you so much. Anybody who's in my community knows, like, I am on that thing. I try to comment as much as I can, but like it's exploded so much and grown so much recently. I'm not able to like get to every single thing, but I'm at least in there liking posts. If people tag me and ask me questions, I'm responding. I'm in there every single morning. The way my schedule is time blocked out, the very first thing I do is my first hour of the day is all community work. So I'm like, okay, who has questions? Who's posted? Who's celebrating? We've got practice questions in there every day. New jobs that have been posted in the past 24 hours are up there every day. So yeah, I love my community. I love you guys. That's my spot. And I used the assistant this morning. How can I get my formal application to your team before I submit it to you? Send me a message in the community. Just DM me. I'll create a section in there because it's been historically just messages like, hey, Veronica, like I've put it through the AI assistant. Can you take a look at it? But I'll put an actual section in the classroom and then I'll just direct people there since we've grown so much and we're going to be bringing on new staff. But yeah, chat me. AI is interesting industry, the integration of it, so many things. Yeah. That's another thing. If you want to get into project management, integrating AI systems, man, you will make a pretty penny. I'd be consulting out here tomorrow. Like, boy, say less. For consulting jobs, what does your work week look like with regards to the hours? Depends on the role. Depends on the role. The cool thing about consulting is that you have a lot of autonomy, but there's also a higher expectation from you because they're paying you more because they expect you to be an expert, right? So there's a higher level of accountability with that. But my last consulting gig was pretty chill. It was pretty heavy in the morning. By the time we got to 2 o'clock in the afternoon on most days, like I was basically done. But there are also some days where I'm like, hey, this was supposed to get pushed through and now we're like ping ponging between all these things. Like I remember being at the movie theater with my daughter and it was like 6:45 in the evening and we had promised that we were going to send this information out and the team was just editing. And so 15 minutes before the movie starts, I'm in there like, hey guys, what do you need from me? Blah, blah, blah. Like it can look like that too. But it depends on the industry and it depends on the initiative, 100%. But you have a high level of autonomy, but the level of accountability matches that. So something to keep in mind. If you're not naturally a social butterfly, can you still do well as a project manager? Of course. Absolutely. The funny thing is you have to keep in mind that you're working with all different types of personalities. So for instance, I can be a little bit of a social butterfly. I'm actually more comfortable being a social butterfly in my career and at my job than I am in my personal life. I don't know why. Make it make sense. I don't know. But some people really like that. Your stakeholders are like, she's consistently engaged and she's always giving me updates. And sometimes she'll drop by my office just to say, hey, and see how am I doing. Some people really like that. And some stakeholders are like, I really wish you would like go away. Like only tell me what I absolutely need to know and don't randomly stop by my office. You know what I'm saying? So you're working with a lot of different personality types and not everybody requires you to be a social butterfly. You can definitely still do well as a PM. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, send it over whenever you get a chance. You're totally fine. How long have you had the community? We've had it for a year. A little over a year. I'm pretty sure we started in March of 2024. Yeah, we've grown it slowly. Like it wasn't something that we just, blew up from the very beginning. It was a long game move for us because we used to only do high ticket boot camps. So like we would do $6,000 bootcamp packages for the weekends, or we would do 5-week PMP prep courses for 5K. Like the community is an idea that I had when I was like, I've been working every single weekend, 8 hours a day, Saturday and Sunday. And I'm like not spending any time with my family, and we're not able to reach as many people because the price point is so high. And so I would get people coming to me all the time that were like, I just can't afford it, but I really want to do it. And so I was like, okay, maybe we change to a community model, and we've slowly built it up over time. And now we're like at almost 1,500 members. So super proud of that. The community is awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for being a member. I love it in there. We really do have a good time. Let me go ahead and join. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Thanks for joining. We really do have a good time in there. Like, I don't know. I hope you guys feel this way about me, but low key, I feel like my community members are my homies. Like, I'm just in there like, hey, y'all, what's up? This is cool. What y'all doing? Somebody asked me the other day, they're like, can I tell people it's my birthday in there? I'm like, yes, you can. Tell everybody it's your birthday and tell them to all like the post, because the more engagement you get, the more you level up, the more you get access to new resources. So, and we do weekly office hours where, you know, people will jump on the call and we'll just kick it, you know, we'll rant, we'll vent, we'll have a good time, we'll laugh. It's really a lot of fun. She really is. You're so responsive and attentive to what we need. Thank you so much. Thank you. I mean, I don't know. I love it. It's like our own little kind of like private club. Whatever you guys need, I'm definitely here for you. And I'm rooting for you guys. Like the reason why this means so much to me is because I was in your same position, but I didn't have any resources. I didn't have anybody to lean on. I didn't have anybody who had been on that journey before. And it was really lonely and really scary. So having a community makes a big difference because it keeps you motivated, it keeps you in your faith, keeps you pushing forward. And yeah, it can be a really beautiful thing for sure. The community is beautiful, a true community. I pray it never changes. Thank you. Thank you, Birdie. All right, we'll do for the PMP, I meet the requirements except the 36 months of experience. I have to wait 3 years before applying, ? Okay, so this is the thing about the experience. Let's go over really quickly PMI's conditions for what they call experience. 36 months of experience leading projects. It doesn't have to be by title, okay? The way that they define a project is that it has a start and end date. It occurs in a professional environment, and it has a designated scope of work. Okay, that is how they define what a project is. So a lot of the times I'll have people who come to me and they're like, oh, okay, well, I led like a fundraising initiative because it's part of the volunteer work that I do, you know, at my church, and it was 6 months long. Does that count? Yeah, that counts. And they'll take it. Because even churches are considered organizations. It's still considered a professional environment. It doesn't have to be paid. So there's a lot of opportunity there. And it's the same thing with teachers. They don't really consider their teaching experience, project management experience, but actually, like, if you went through an initiative where you were updating your curriculum to see how it resulted in increased, you know, state testing scores at the end of the year, you can count that. So keep your mind open when it comes to experience, because they'll count a lot of different things as experience. I oversaw a research initiative that was 2 years long while I was in college. We were testing phosphorus level in coastal Hawaiian waters because I was obviously a chemistry major, and they took that. I used that as my experience as one of them, and another one from work that was a year long. So you have a lot of opportunity. Don't hesitate to join the community. Veronica's responsive and committed. Thank you so much, Valerie. Thank you. Thank you. I just got promoted in my company to a project scheduler position in engineering. Congratulations. I'm so excited. Do you have any advice for me? This is my first role in the project industry. Be open to learning. Be open to learning and open to admitting what you don't know. And if you don't know, be willing to ask. Keep in mind that as a project manager, you're not expected to be the subject matter expert. That's what you have your team for, okay? Lean on your team's subject matter expertise. Ask them, based on your experience, what's the right thing to do here? How much time is this going to take? How should we estimate this? Lean into that. Keep an open line of communication with your stakeholders. There's nothing that your stakeholders and your sponsors hate more than being told something at the last minute. As soon as you think they need to know, tell them. Even if you're like, well, nothing's gone wrong yet, you can give them a heads up by, hey, we've got this risk, we're monitoring it. but I just want to give you a heads up. I didn't want you to be the last to know. They love that. Keep an open line of communication, maintain transparency. Don't put too much pressure on yourself to know everything. Lean on your team. Let them do what they do best. Congratulations. That's amazing. Community's interactive, supportive, and engaging. Yes, I need this community. I need assistance with my accountability. Literally what we're here for. Literally what we're here for. You will get that. It's amazing. Thanks for sharing. Oh, yes. We used a lot of GIFs and a lot of memes. A lot of GIFs and a lot of memes. I love that. I love to laugh. So it's like every single time I post a practice question, obviously they're going to be hard and people are going to be like, what the heck is she talking about in this question? I throw a little GIF in there, a little meme. It helps people feel better. Love you, Miss Veronica. Love you too. Thank you so much for the love. A lot of people I meet who are PMs got the job without a cert. What's your POV in getting it and pivoting into fintech? So the reason why I got the cert is because I was not trying to go in at an entry level. You can go in at an entry level without the cert. I was 30 years old when I graduated college. I had already been in the workforce for 10 years. I had just gotten denied to get into medical school. And I had obviously just put all this money, time, and effort into getting a degree. There was no way I was starting over. I was like, no, I want my job. I want my big girl job with a big girl bag. And so I got the cert. I was like, I'm not going to build up from the bottom like that. And maybe that was just me being impatient, but it was also me being like, I have 10 years of work experience in a freaking 4-year degree and I'm 30 years old. I'm not starting over. So that's why I hype up the certification, because we typically, our demographic is mid-career professionals. So people who have been working in their jobs for 5 to 10 years and they don't want to start over from the beginning. So I'm like, get a professional certification and level up and pivot in that way. That was kind of my perspective on it. What's your POV on getting it and pivoting into fintech? Do you have a background in anything finance related? I'm gonna have to scroll down because I'm if you have a background in finance related things, accounting or whatever it may be, I mean, I say get it and do your thing. Or maybe you have a background in tech and not in finance. I would get some exposure to finance, get that cert and pivot. I mean, do it. There ain't nothing to it but to do it for sure. If I get audited, how would I show proof for a small cake business I ran a few years ago? Let's talk about PMI's auditing process, shall we? This is how PMI does an audit, okay? Number one, they'll tell you you're being audited. It's great. And then what they ask you for is, if you have a degree, they ask for proof that you graduated college. They ask for proof that you got 35 hours of education. So if you take our course, you reach out to us, you're like, hey, I need my certificate that confirms that I did these 35 hours. If you're gonna be in the boot camp, we'll just send it to you. If you take our self-paced course, you need to ask us for it, just FYI. And we'll send it to you. So you use that. And then they ask you for the first and last name and email address of somebody who can confirm the work on each of your projects. It doesn't have to be somebody who is still working at that company. It doesn't have to be your boss. It needs to be somebody who can witness and say, hey, I can confirm that they did this work. So if you owned a cake business, I would just find a reference that was willing to say, yeah, I can confirm that she did this work. Just like that. The audit process is not that hard, but you only have 90 days to do it. It shouldn't take you 90 days, but you have 90 days and you need to make sure that you get it done in that amount of time. I wouldn't be worried about getting audited. They hype it up to be really scary because they obviously are trying to discourage people from lying, because people lie all the time, but I wouldn't be freaked out about it. This live is really blessing my heart. A million thanks for doing this. You're welcome. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate you guys. Now that makes sense. Makes sense. Tax returns. Ooh, boy, don't even get me started on taxes. I'm like, whatever y'all tell me to do, whatever you tell me to pay, I'll do it, but I'm going to complain about it. Sweet. I'd be able to find references. Amazing. Love a cake business. Love that. Okay, you guys, I got like maybe 15 more minutes left of me. So if y'all got questions, hit me with them. Yeah, it took me 2 days to get everything to them. It was a very easy process. See, I wouldn't sweat too much about auditing. All good. Reminder for anybody who didn't hear me earlier, the price of the community for new members, not for current members, for new members is going up on July 1st. It's going to go from $50 a month to $75 a month. If you're going to join the community and join this boot camp that we have coming up, join before Monday, because after the price goes up, that's it. Okay. So make sure that you guys take care of that as soon as possible. Backgrounds, administrative and executive support, and ops and logistics. You got it. You got it. Get some type of exposure. I mean, even if it's just volunteering. I tell people all the time when they're like, I don't know how to get exposure to what I want to do. Nonprofits, charities, they're always looking for people to come in and help them. They're always looking for people to come in and help them. I would go in and volunteer and be like, hey, well, I can like do some basic accounting. I can look at, your finance system, how it's managed. I can go in and help you manage with your cookbooks or cookbooks. Wow. With your QuickBooks or whatever it may be, or are you guys upgrading a system? Like, let me go in there. I don't have a lot of expertise, but I'm willing to learn and help. And it's all just exposure, because the fact of the matter is you're going to be learning on the job regardless. Every organization runs projects differently. Some organizations have PMOs, project management offices. Some organizations don't, right? And their projects are not streamlined across the enterprise. Some organizations have change control boards. Some organizations don't. You're going to be learning on the job. So as long as you're keeping that open mind and you're like, no matter what, I'm just going to be learning and upskilling and growing in the role, keep that mindset and you'll be good to go. 100%. All right. You guys have any other questions? Anything I can answer for you? By the way, I'm going to be doing these lives every single Saturday at 10 a.m. leading up to the boot camp. Okay, because I want to make sure that I get people's questions answered. The last time I did this live, we had people who were like, wait, I have this experience, can I qualify? And that's all they were waiting for to, be able to join the boot camp. So I want to make sure I answer everybody's questions. It can be hard to get FaceTime with me if you're not in the community. Like, the lives are the best place. Any prerequisites for joining the boot camp? No. As long as you feel confident that you can qualify for the PMP, don't worry about the app. We'll help you with that. We've got the AI agent you can leverage. We will have the pre-work videos uploaded 1 week prior to boot camp starting. So I'll have you guys take a look at those just to get some foundational understanding. But no, other than that, no prereqs. You're good to go. The biggest thing is that you can meet the qualifications. What was your favorite PM job and why? Honestly, I don't think I've ever met a PM job that I hated. My very first one at the biotech startup was so gnarly because it was a startup and it was just pure chaos. So I love that. I didn't mind it. My second job was so much more structured. They had a PMO, but it was trash. But it's where I found my mentor, and I really, really enjoyed working for him. I reported directly to the COO. I was his project management consultant. And he gave me so much experience and exposure to C-suite level executives. And I probably love that job so much because of him. We're actually having dinner next week, so I'm super excited about that. And then my recent consulting gig was amazing because it was probably my first time. It was my most well-organized company that I had ever been exposed to. Like, their stuff was legit. And I mean, it was streamlined down to the fact that every single thing you presented, they already had a template for it. And it was like, this is how you format it. Every single thing that gets presented in this organization looks the same. It was so streamlined. It was so clean. So I loved that. I've probably never met a PM job that I didn't like, which is what brings me to what I do right now. What was the most difficult thing to learn and accept in your career? That you don't know everything and you're not ever going to know everything. I would say historically, I can be a prideful person. Like, I want to be right. And the thing about project management is that because you're working with cross-functional teams, you're never going to be the person who has subject matter expertise in finance and in marketing and in the technology side and in the business side and in operations and in process. That's what you have your subject matter experts for. And it's really important that you don't pretend to know everything, because you don't need to know everything. So if you're the type of person who's like, I need to be the end all be all on everything, then you're not going to do well. You're going to struggle, because the reason you have a team of subject matter experts is so you can let them be the subject matter experts. You have to be willing to admit what you don't know. That can be hard for some people. Could you give an idea of what the day-to-day might be like as a project manager? Completely depends on the initiative, obviously. But for example, you're probably going to be in some meetings. If they're not meetings that you're facilitating, right? So one of the things that a lot of people don't know about project managers is that you're facilitating meetings. People will say, oh, I just don't want to be in meetings all day. Oh, you're not just going to be in them. You'll be leading them. You'll be facilitating. You'll be the one who scheduled the meeting because you need answers from this group of people that's so hard to get together and on one accord. So that's an important thing to keep in mind. You're going to be resolving issues. Another big thing about project management is that if your team is running into obstacles, your job is to go in there and remove those obstacles for them. You want them to have a clear path of execution so that they can do their best, right? And so if somebody comes to me and says, hey, I know that I have this task due, but I've been emailing this person to get information from them and they haven't responded, and I can't finish this task until I get a response from them, my first thought is, oh, I'll get the response from them. I'll go find out what's going on. I'll go to them, and then if they, if I can't get in touch with them, I'll go to their manager and be like, hey, we've been trying to get in touch with this person. Can you kind of tell me what's up? And sometimes it's like that person's on PTO, or they just had a baby, they're on maternity leave. And then it's like, oh, okay, totally fine. Can you point me in the direction of another resource that we can get these answers from? Like, that's kind of what your day will look like. You're facilitating, you're leading, you're making sure that your team has everything that they need to be successful. I love it. Obviously, because I'm a yapper and I like to talk a lot. I have years of events management, expos, live recordings, and nonprofits. That's lit. That's lit. You're a little bit of a jack of all trades, Francis. You're bringing a lot to the table. Knowing everything is what I struggle a bit with right now. I'm exactly the same way. I want to know everything, and because I don't and never will, I can feel imposter syndrome creeping in. Imposter syndrome only applies if you're supposed to know. As a project manager, you're not supposed to know. You're just supposed to be going, willing to go out and get the answer from the person who does know. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it at all. Imposter syndrome is like, I don't know if you guys like The Wolf of Wall Street. I love that movie, but Matthew McConaughey, he says, it's a fugazi, it's a fugazi, it's a wazi, it's a woozy. It's pixie dust. It's not real. You know what I'm saying? If you're there, it's because you belong there. There's no way that you can't belong there if you're there. Keep it in mind. What's the difference between a regular PM and a consultant PM? If you're a regular project manager, you work at that company full time. If you're a consultant, you get paid on an hourly basis and you're literally there just for that thing. Yeah. So like, for instance, when I was working full time at one of the healthcare organizations that I worked for, I was taking on like 5 different projects. I'm a full-time employee. They're like, these are all the different projects we have going on and we want you to take on these things, blah, blah, blah. A lot of the times when you're a consultant, you're there for a very specific reason. You're billing hourly and you don't work there full time, so you don't get benefits. But you can negotiate a pretty high hourly rate. So keep that in mind. If money is the thing that's really selling you, I would keep that in mind. Somebody just said diamonds. I love that. Thank you. I'm excited about learning and growing, building a resource for admins, and we need this type of education. 100%. 100% agree. I love it. I love it, you guys. All right, any additional questions? Any additional questions for me before we wrap it up? The next live, same time, same place, next Saturday. Boot camp starts on 7/19. Be in the community at least a week early. You need to look at the videos. You need to be in the community, leveling up, engaging with people. Like, you need to get a feel for how we do things. Price goes up on Monday to $75 a month. If you're sure you want to join now. Don't wait, or you're going to end up paying a higher price. Oh, the diamonds are gems. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Don't forget to like the live, y'all. Yes, like the live, please. What's the difference between a PM and a technical PM? A technical PM has a technical background. Right, so you'll have some PMs that are really well versed on the technical side, and they'll tell you, oh, well, I started off as like a full stack developer, or I started off as a data architect, or whatever it may be. They have a technical background, And I am not a technical PM. I'm a regular PM. I don't want to say regular, but I'll say, I have more expertise on the business side, if you will. Do you have invites, Calendly, to like schedule consultations? Is that what you're asking? If so, I don't do consultations. I'm so sorry. I do not do consultations. I was doing them for the longest time, but as the business grew, it was like all I was doing because all people wanted was consultations. I can't do it. I can't do it. That's why I stopped doing resume services. It's like I got 1,000,001 requests. Can you rewrite my resume? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like there's no amount of money in the world that can buy me more time to do all these resumes. So I don't do consultations. I don't do resumes. But you can always email me if you have questions. It's info at pmpmastermind.com. You guys can always email me. If you're in the community, then you already know. Just drop something in the community. Tag me, and I got you. But yeah, I don't do consultations. I'm so sorry. Sorry. Oh, my next live. Can you do an invite for a live? I'm new to this. This is only my second live, so I have no idea. I have no idea how the lives work. I literally just pop up on here and I'm like, hey y'all, it's me, your girl Veronica. But it'll be same time, same place. So I'm not sure if we can do invites for a live, to be honest. I think I'm just too new to know, but I'll look into it for sure. But 10 a.m. Central Standard Time next Saturday. Reminders, I think. I'll figure that out. Yeah, I'll figure that out for sure. Thank you. Thank you for that. Because like I said, I'm just so new to lives. I have no idea. Does the PMP cert expire? It certainly will. You got to do 60 PDUs every 3 years. And there's a lot of different ways that you can get PDUs. You can actually get PDUs, earn them from teaching project management, from volunteering, from teaching project management to other people. Like I get my PDUs strictly from teaching, from speaking at conferences, volunteering. Some people buy PDU packs. I've never had to do that because I'm just out here talking to people about project management. I'm going to clock this hour too as a PDU. Subscribe and turn notifications on. Oh, okay. Yes, if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe. I say it in every video. Please subscribe. This is my video for the day. If you've been watching my videos, you know I'm dropping a new video every single day leading up to the boot camp. This is my video for today. So don't look for something with a fancy thumbnail. It's going to be a recording of this live. Give your girl some grace. Yes, thanks, Francis. Hit the notification bell. You should be notified when the live happens. Amazing. I'm glad you guys know how to use it because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, you guys. It looks like we don't have any more questions, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up for the day. Thank you so much for joining the live. Same time, same place, next week, Saturday, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Subscribe to my channel. Put the notification bell on so that you know when we're getting on. Thank you so much for joining. Join the community. The link is in every single one of my bios on every single platform. Price goes up on Monday. Get in there early, start engaging, leveling up, and get to know the crew. All right? I love you guys. Thanks for everything. See y'all later. Bye.